Hi everyone, my name is Tara Hammes and I'm with the Massachusetts Councils on Aging. Every town's Council on Aging and Senior Center is an important part of the community. They provide a variety of services from programming to transportation to community outreach and of course, nutrition. This Cooking as Self-Care series that MCOA has created has been brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts as well as Mass Access, who's dedicated to providing quality programming. I hope you'll enjoy what's next. Oh, I guess we should shut the windows. Whether you're cooking along with us or not, feel free to pour yourself a little something special. Remember, whenever you start cooking, please wash your hands. My name is Tara Hammes and I am with the Massachusetts Councils on Aging. I'm one of their member services directors as well as a registered dietitian. And what I like to do is share some nutrition information, do a little cooking. Folks love cooking demos. I am not a professional chef. This is my home kitchen, which I cleaned exceptionally well for you. Today is the start of a 12-month series called Cooking as Self-Care. Every month we are going to have a little bit of a nutrition theme, maybe a program theme. We'll tie in some nutrition tips, some food safety tips, and we'll look at if there are any celebrations going on that month or not. All you need to do is decide if some of the information that I give you fits into your life or not. And if it does, fabulous. If it doesn't, that's fine as well. We all have different reasons for eating the way we do, shopping the way we do. It is fine. What I want to do is try to help you eat a little bit better to enjoy whatever time you have left. If you are 27, 47, 67, or yes, 87, we don't know how much time we have left on the planet. So why not at least make a little bit of effort in choosing healthier foods most of the time. Cheers. Today we're talking about one pan, one pot, and typically I want to tell you a couple of things. Typically what I usually like to do is share recipes that have flexibility. So if you don't have something, great, no problem. Keep it moving, you can do it, it's still going to be good for you. What chicken chili, what chicken chili. The recipe we're going to cook today is the white chicken chili. Full disclosure, I am a vegetarian, and so I make modifications along the way as to the way I would consume the recipe. I want you to do the same, whether it's adding more meat or organic foods, that's fine. There's no judgment in Tara's kitchen, in MCOA's kitchen. We really want you to just try to eat as best as you can with your taste preferences, which is most important that people completely leave out, especially dietitians. You know, we'll try to push foods to folks to say, oh, you need to do. Well, if you don't want to do the third do, then it's not going to work. We need to find something that you like because it tastes better to you. Because the best diet doesn't mean a thing if you're not going to eat it. So what we'll start with is chopping our onion. Like I said, I am not a professional chef, and you don't have to be either. Somebody asked me one day which XYZ gadget I recommended or what were the best tools to have in the kitchen. And I find that you can do a lot with the basics. And so that's why I really encourage folks to buy the best knife that they can in the size and the weight that they prefer. We're going to grab some olive oil.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Ooh, can you hear my snakes? They're really squeaky. So we have one small yellow onion. Go with what you like. If you like a lot of onion, add more onion. If you don't, that's okay too. We put a tablespoon of olive oil in there. So the onion is sauteing. I always do a test recipe because I want to see, first of all, if I like the recipe, and I want to share with you folks how I would make changes. And then, since the test food as well as this recipe isn't going to go to waste, I need to make sure that I'm going to make it the way that either I'm going to eat it or a friend or a family member is going to eat it. So last night when I was making this, I may have had the heat up a smidge too high initially, and my onions burned. And oh dear Lord, is there anything worse than the smell of burning onions? Maybe burned butter. My daughter came out the other day and said, "Mom, what did you burn?" I'm like, "Nothing." Okay. Oops. So I was talking about peeling onions or garlic earlier, and how you can crush it with your knife. You don't need a fancy tool, and you can use a press, or you can just, again, use a basic knife and chop it. You don't have to have the fancy knife skills. You chop it to small enough pieces. But one of the issues is a lot of times folks will buy fresh produce, fresh herbs, fresh, etc., and they end up not using it, and it becomes wasteful both for the environment but also for your pocketbook. Why have extra food waste? Why throw money down the drain? And as much as I love fresh ingredients most of the time, I don't really like peeling garlic. And so I have found also that minced garlic that you can keep in the fridge for much longer is the way to go for me. As we're chatting, I want to make sure that you do what works for you. Grab your veggie broth, and the veggie broth can be liquid, like this when you purchase it. It can be a cube, the bouillon cube. It can be a base, so then you add water to the base. Doesn't matter, you figure out what you prefer, what tastes good to you, what fits in your budget, and you use that one. I put most of the broth in the pan to cook, and I'm going to reserve a little bit more of it, about maybe half a cup, maybe a cup. We'll do a little extra to make it easier on me. Put 1 cup of the vegetable base in. Take 2 about 15-ounce cans of cannellini beans, drain those, grab them, and then we're going to throw them in the pot as well. We're not going to throw all of them in there. What I did was, when I saved a little bit of the broth, I also am going to throw in a little bit of the beans. And what we're going to do is we are going to grab, you can either do this in a measuring cup or a blender, a food processor, whatever works for you, you can go ahead and grab it. I like the immersion blenders because they're easier, faster, easier to clean. I got a little funky monkey. Yeah, there we go. So go ahead and blend those up. It's just going to thicken the soup and the stock a little bit. Plus, it's easier to pour this way. So go ahead and throw that in there. Okay. This recipe calls for an 8-ounce brick of the lighter cream cheese, and when I did the test recipe, to me it was a little much. Feel free to use the full 8 ounces, But for this time around and for the demo, we're going to just use the 4 ounces. By pulling back a little bit on the amount of cream cheese that's going into it, I think we'll be able to appreciate the other flavors that are in the soup. And by appreciate, I mean feel all of the heat that the cayenne and the diced green chilies are bringing us. What we're going to do is add the corn, a cup and a quarter, and then about 2.5 cups of chicken. Let's do the corn first. If you wanted, you could always put everything in here before the chicken and then blend it all together. That way it's even smoother. Obviously it's soup, it's going to be well cooked, so most of it will be soft. But if you prefer something without chunks, like a definitely smoother consistency, you could go ahead and blend this before the chicken goes in. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2.5 cups of the chicken, which I cooked already. I bought it raw. I cooked it in the oven. I just baked it. And then what I did was, and this really is the most important factor, is I took the temperature. I'm really cautious about food safety and the temperatures and the way that we handle food and our personal hygiene in the kitchen. For poultry, what you need to know, the bottom line is that poultry needs to be cooked to a minimum of 165 degrees for 30 seconds. So when you put one of these thermometers in it, this is called a bimetallic stem thermometer, what you'll see is from the end to about 1.5 inches way up, there's a little dimple right about there. So this is the area that will actually measure the temperature. So let's go ahead, we'll add the chicken in there. It's already been cooked, so it really just needs to be heated through at this point. Ooh. That's good looking. We're going to make sure that this simmers for about another 10 minutes to make sure that the chicken gets heated through, maybe 5 minutes, depending on how you have that cranked up there. Looks beautiful, it smells fabulous. And if you want it thicker, you can add more corn and you can blend that up. You could add some pasta, some rice, whatever you like. But depending on how thick you want it, you can even add bread. You can add Italian loaf bread, whether it's stale or not, and you rip it up into smaller pieces. Oh my, this really looks good. It's perfect for the winter, perfect for, even if you don't eat a lot of it the first night that you make it, it's one of those fabulous dishes that you can, excuse me, off you go. Okay, nope, down you go. Let's try this again. Now you can make for the night of and then cool and freeze in individual portions. That's just as easy. So what we'll do is we'll take the chicken chili dish. I don't know if you can see it without me spilling it. I'll try. And you can add a couple of corn chips to it. Cut up some avocado if you like. You can also add a little bit of cheese. There's cheddar. I have a mix of cheddar and Monterey Jack in there. Or you can use a little bit of lime juice, whether it's a fresh lime, or you can use the bottled lime if you want, whatever brand. Again, it doesn't matter. But make sure that you definitely want to add a little bit of salt and pepper maybe. Well, that's good. Mama liked the lime. Now, I was going to lead with this recipe this month because we're trying to keep with recipes that are simple and delicious. But I was worried that even though we're talking today a little bit about nutrition basics, I didn't think it would be as exciting enough. But the cool thing about it is that I made this last night, again, as my test recipe. And then I found myself sort of picking at it last night and this morning. And one of the cool things about the baked oatmeal is that it has a slightly different texture to it. So I know a lot of folks don't like the gummy oatmeal sort of porridge texture. This has a slightly crisper top as well as border. I was thinking about it this morning, and one of the things that I think is great about it for not just older adults, but people who have issues with their dentition, with chewing, is that it's not super gummy like an oatmeal, but it's not hard like a bar, or as I like to say, a food rectangle. This baked oatmeal has a little bit of a crunch, faint, but it's soft enough so that if you are having trouble chewing, then you can still have some fabulous nutrition benefits. It has the old-fashioned oats in it. It also has plenty of liquid, milk. It has apples, 2 apples in a full 9 by 13 inch pan. It has the cran raisins, which are basically sweetened cranberries, because cranberries are so tart, most people don't want to eat them as is, so they're usually dehydrated and sweetened and/or a combination. So you can use the raisins, or you can use dried cherries or dried blueberries or whatever dried fruit that you like. I don't want you to be afraid of eating the dried fruit. I don't want you to be afraid of 100% juice. I know a number of folks say that, you know, if you eat too much of either of those, it isn't good for you. And sometimes that's the only form of fruit and or vegetable that some people can access. So go ahead, if that's what works for you, feel free. Oh, I forgot to put out here, I'm sorry, our maple syrup, which is what I used was the 100% maple syrup. Sweeteners are sweeteners, so if you don't have 100% maple syrup, that's okay. You can use the pancake syrup. It was easy. It was, most of all, was the flavor. The walnuts are fabulous for your brain health, which is something that we will get to later on. The cranberries are fabulous antioxidants and dried fruit. The coconut oil, the apples, the more fruits and vegetables you eat, however you can, like, stick more of it into it. Even this chili recipe that we made together, I would probably add more vegetables to it, period, just because it's an easy way to increase your veggies without having to doing the extra chopping and the cleaning and the prep. You know, you can throw extra frozen veggies in there and you reap the benefits. Okay, what am I missing? So try the apple cinnamon baked oatmeal and see if you like it. You can always add some vanilla yogurt to it, which is a great way to increase your protein, and that's something we will get to a little bit later on this season as well. Or, you know, if you like your ice cream, who doesn't? You can have maybe a little bit less ice cream and add some healthier foods to it as well. One of the things that I think is really important with these sessions is that we're not only talking about nutrition, and we're talking about cooking, and we're talking about either health observances or food observances. So what I want to do is tie some of this into those. Thank you for joining me on our first Cooking as Self-Care session. Please remember that you need to take care of yourself before you can take care of the folks that you love, the folks with whom you share a community, and that we are here to help you. Later. I don't remember what I need this for. I hope you enjoyed the program. This is just one of the ways the Councils on Aging are serving folks statewide. If you're looking for more information, please contact your local Council on Aging by calling them or visiting their website. Thank you and be well.